The day his body said stop. Marc thought he was going to die. His heart was beating so fast, it felt like it was about to burst out of his chest. His hands were shaking, his breathing was getting shorter. He was sitting in his car, parked outside his office. Around him, employees were calmly walking into the building. No one knew that inside that car, a man was losing control of his own body. Marc looked at the clock on the dashboard, 8:26. In just a few minutes, the most important meeting of his career was about to begin. But at that exact moment, he wasn't even sure he could get out of the car. And all of this because of something he had ignored for months. Stress. A few months earlier. A year earlier, Marc would have laughed if someone had told him stress could paralyze him. Marc was 35 years old. He had a good job in a communications company, a family he loved deeply, and a life many people considered successful. But what people didn't see was the constant pressure, impossible deadlines, endless meetings, and that phone that never stopped vibrating. At first, Marc handled it. He worked a little more, slept a little less. Nothing serious, just a few more coffees during the day. But without realizing it, something slowly started settling into his life. An invisible pressure. The first signs. Stress doesn't always strike suddenly. Most of the time, it settles in quietly, almost silently. For Marc, the first signs appeared at night. He would wake up at 3 in the morning, eyes wide open in the darkness, his mind refusing to stop. What if the project fails? What if the client rejects the proposal? What if I make a mistake? He couldn't fall back asleep. The next morning, he was already exhausted. But he kept going, faster and faster, further and further. When the body starts to speak. Then the headache started, the tension in his neck, a strange kind of fatigue that never really went away, even after a full night of sleep. Marc became more irritable, more impatient. Even at home, he couldn't disconnect. His son wanted to play with him, but Marc's mind was still at work, thinking about emails, meetings, problems waiting for him the next day. Meanwhile, his body kept absorbing the pressure. Because when we are stressed, the body releases hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. These hormones help us react to danger. But when stress becomes constant, the body stays stuck in alert mode, like an engine running at full speed without ever stopping. And sooner or later, something breaks. The moment everything changed. That moment came on a Tuesday morning. Marc had an important meeting, a massive project, months of work. If it failed, his company could lose a major client. He woke up with a knot in his stomach, but he got ready anyway. Quick shower, coffee, then he drove to the office. Everything seemed normal until he stopped in the parking lot, and that's when his body said stop. Heart started racing, his breathing became fast, his hands began to shake. Marc thought he was having a heart attack. The truth. After that episode, Marc went to see a doctor. Several tests were done, and the verdict came. His heart was fine, but his body was exhausted. Exhausted from chronic stress. The doctor told him something he would never forget. Your body is sending you a warning signal. If you don't change anything, eventually it will stop you. The change. That day, Marc understood something important. Stress isn't only in the mind, it lives in the body too. And if we don't listen, the body will eventually speak for itself. So Marc started changing a few things, not all at once, but little by little. He started walking again, breathing, taking a few minutes every day just to slow down. He learned to say no, and most importantly, he learned how to disconnect. Today,
Today, Marc still works, but he works differently. He takes time to breathe, to walk, and most importantly, to enjoy simple moments. One evening, his son said something he would never forget. "Dad, you smile more than before." And that day, Marc realized something. He had spent so much time trying to succeed in life that he had forgotten to actually live it. Conclusion: stress is part of life, but when we ignore the signals our body sends us, eventually the body will say stop. So, sometimes the bravest thing you can do is not to keep running, but simply to learn how to slow down.